Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Lead and Scale, where we explore practical leadership ideas that help organizations grow, adapt, and execute effectively. So today is another day, and this is another wonderful episode. And I want you to know that this is going to be mind blowing. Okay, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to create great impact in your organization. Today's conversation focuses on a topic that every leader needs. Okay, so here's the thing. Many leaders are thinking that, they are thinking that, okay, how can I really innovate? They're thinking, how can I really deliver great results? I mean, there are several expectations right now in organizations globally, in government agencies, in different teams today, innovation, technology, artificial intelligence, and all, right? But the real question today is going to really create a wonderful impact in organization. And here with me, we have experts who is going to be, sharing some powerful thoughts and powerful strategies on today's podcast. Here with me is Coach Suleiman Shaibu. Many experience in the space of leadership, in the space of management. He's a management consultant. He consults for leaders in organizations and businesses and government. Wow. In fact, I'm going to let him say a little bit about himself, but let me just say this real quick. Is very versatile, when it comes to the space of AI innovation. It supports leaders in different areas of growth. Looking into what is really happening today and how can we take you from where you are now to the future that you desire, right? He is an expert in creating those strategies within the organization to create the kind of growth that you really desire. So we're going to look into some strategic, thoughts on this podcast today. So welcome, Coach Suleiman Shaibu. How are you doing today, sir?
Thank you very much, Coach Wale Adekanla. Thank you very much for inviting me. I feel honored to be on your podcast, and we hope to rub minds and talk about things that are AI, leadership related, and also strategy, and anything that can help an organization uh, live where they are to where they want to go to.
Hmm, hmm. Hmm. That's very correct. That's very correct. So before we get started, I would love, you to just say, just say a little bit about yourself. I know that are many things that I don't even know myself. Okay, so just give us a kind of brief introduction about all the things, all the great stuff you've been doing out there for organizations.
Okay. First, like rightly pointed out, my name is Suleiman Shaibu. I'm a management consultant. I've been involved in different leadership roles. I come from a technology background, but now I'm fully into consulting. I've been doing consulting for the past 8 years, and we do strategy, big for organizations to help them plan where they want to go to help them foresee areas they've not considered, how they can bring technology, innovation to take in their business. We anchor a lot of management retreats. I think so far we've done over 22 plus management retreat for organizations. We've started doing board retreats now. So far we've done three board retreats now. So yes, we do a strategy retreats for organizations. We not only do that, we also do some HR work. Because I come from a sales background, we also help organizations with anything that have to help them drive growth. And because I also come from from a technology background, for the past 18 months plus, I've been extensively helping organizations when it comes to helping shape their AI strategy. So I'll give you a very good example. Last year, I was in Abuja, Liberia. I spoke at different forums, helping different organizations in different sectors, telecoms, oil and gas, manufacturing, services, non-profits, uh, even education, to talk about how people can leverage AI to help their business. So those are the kind of things that we do.
Wow, wow. So, well, I believe everybody is ready for what is going to happen today. I mean, you can just imagine all the good stuff that we're going to be exploring together. So thank you
Thank
very much for sharing your journey with us. And I usually love to ask all my guests, to kind of say a little bit about themselves, especially their journey and the work, they have been doing in our societies, in nations. So thank you
you.
very much for all that you've been doing globally. So I know you've been working, on different aspects of AI and technology designs and what leaders can actually draw in this space. So, for before we get into the main conversation, I want us to kind of look into the core idea here today, because one of the ideas that keeps appearing in leadership conversations is that many organizations say that they want innovation, right? They want creativity, they want progress for sure. But when the new technology arrives, any new technology, now we're talking about AI, the organization struggles to adapt. So the challenge may not be the technology itself. It may be the leadership readiness, that leads that leads to our first question today. So let me ask this question. From your experience designing and implementing AI systems, generally in teams and across organizations, what mindset shift must leaders make if they want their organizations to truly benefit from innovation rather than resist it?
Well, the first mindset, I think, any organization that is a forward-looking organization that also want to weather the storm of this disruptive society that we're in right now is the need to keep, for one, to be flexible, for you to be open-minded, for you to be receptive or to be curious, to want to take on new ideas. It's not as simple as I've described because human being by nature we don't like change.
Mm,
Sometimes our hand, yeah, we are forced to change because first we don't have any other option, or two, we are forced to change because we need to catch up because the competitors have showed us how to do things differently as against how we used to do things. But the first thing I will say again is to keep your mind open. The second thing is to create an enabling environment for people to make mistake. Anytime you're starting anything new, things will not work in a perfect way. You need to learn, stumble, make mistake, learn from the mistake, and even sometimes some mistakes actually lead you to new discoveries. So,
mm,
but you must create the environment. So, if you look at it, one of the biggest challenge a leader must focus is how to get their people to do things, how to influence them. Anytime we hear about AI project failures, they are not. It's not a technology failure. There's nothing wrong with the technology. If there was, they will not be bringing new products every day. So it's not a technology problem. It's a people and a culture problem. So if there's any takeaway for anyone who's listening here, anytime we hear about technology failures or AI failures, it is a people problem. And we have stats actually to back it. The Boston Consulting Group, BCG, in
mhm,
2024 came up with a very startling statistics that say 70% of AI implementation failures are due to leadership and cultural reasons,
mm,
company cultural reasons. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with technology. So for a leader, if there's any mindset you need to have, is one, how to convince and motivate your people to embrace change, which I've already stated in advance that is difficult. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it or gloss it over. I say, oh, just change. No, no, no. None of us like. I mean, if things were working, as they say if it ain't broken, don't try to fix it, right? So people by nature like to stay where things are. But if we're going to be successful, if we're going to be leaders who we're supposed to be, then we must like change. Sometimes we maybe you have to break something so that change can really happen, right? So embrace change, be flexible, create an environment that is open to new ideas, that allows people to make mistakes. So those
Wow.
are the three mindsets I would want any person who is in a leadership position, who
Mm.
wants to guide the organization or team to the next level while leveraging technology and being specific AI.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. Hmm. You said something about change that I don't want anybody to miss. And I think that's very important. Most people don't want to change. They wait until they have to change.
And, and that's what AI has fostered on us now. We forget the conspiracy theory, forget about the things that they say locally here, that sometimes AI is a fallen angel. Look, we are
Mm,
no, AI is here. Even AI has entered into warfare now, as we've come to find out. So AI is here. It's not going anywhere.
mm.
Change is difficult, but it's here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that one wonderful piece. So, I'm just thinking about several assumptions out there. The common leadership assumptions that prevent organizations from embracing innovation effectively. People come up with different, thoughts, especially things they've heard from people. Oh, this AI thing now, probably. In fact, I heard recently for some people, they said probably this is an evil spirit, from from the hell. And I was like, hey, where are you eating from? Where are you learning all of this? I almost called for help, maybe to pray for this person. Okay.
So so one of the things that actually is a major stumbling block
Mm,
is fear. Fear of the unknown,
mm,
fear of appearing stupid, fear of making mistake, the attending costs that go with making mistake. So anytime we think about fear, we shrink and we would like to stay where we are in our comfort zone. So the first thing that a leader should do is a leader should encourage his or her followers to try to address those fears that they have. By the way, those fears are valid, right?
yeah.
They are so anytime you're doing any AI implementation or trying to take people on an AI journey, these fears they don't go away. They are real, but it doesn't mean they're not surmountable and doesn't mean that they don't have answers. The other fear is the fear of um, maybe it's too late for me to join this race.
Mm,
Yeah, okay. So I schooled in the eastern part of Nigeria, and they have a saying in the East that the day a person wakes up is their morning. So now is the morning for you. If you I just been hearing about AI for the first time, now is time for you to actually hurry up and learn all the things you can learn about AI. There are enough YouTube video training. If you're on LinkedIn, there are free courses that teach you about how to know all the things about AI. There are free courses that people are offering on webinars. So the first one. Then the last one, which is the big elephant in the room, is about job loss. So you've heard that several thousands of people have lost their job in 2025 because those listed companies are hiding under the guise that it is because of advent of AI.
mm,
So some are real, some are fake. But truth is that job is very important to people, right? It's a source of livelihood, and other people depend on you. So if there's someone that's coming to come and take your job, you have a reason to be scared. It's a very valid fear. And I'll give you a real life example. I wrote about this example on LinkedIn. So I'm a member of a club here locally, and I go to play table tennis 3 times in a week. And recently, they bought a robot in the section. So that robot, you can play table tennis with it. That means that you don't need to have a coach. Anytime you want to learn any skill as
mm.
a table tennis player, or you want to learn top spin, how to use your backhand, you understand how
Yes.
to block a smash, you can actually play with a robot. And the robot has been there for some time. Nobody has approached to use it. Out of curiosity, I found out that the reason why people have not gone there is because one, they didn't know how to use it. So
Yeah.
if I want to liken it to our AI story, one of the problems is that there's a skill gap. People don't even know where to start from. So in my case, in my club, the people have refused to approach that robot because they don't know how to use it. They don't want to read the manual and they don't want to ask for help. It's the same thing too with people in organizations. You don't know this AI. You are too proud or too shy to ask somebody else that knows. and you have refused to take a online course and you refuse to pay for the course. So either ways, the knowledge cannot be forced into you, right? So you have to go out of your way to seek this knowledge. So in the same way too, after some time, I actually approached the coach and told the coach. And one of the things that the coach said without saying it was that he has a new competitor now. Because prior to this time, all of us depended on him for him to teach us how to play. But with the robot, there's certain things you can learn now without reverting back to the coach. So yes, the fear of loss of job is real. So
Yeah.
if a robot can pick up some job of a coach in the table tennis thing, how many other things? Imagine we now have home robots that can clean your vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, it's
So it
clean
means that
everywhere in the home.
you don't need
Yes.
to stop it. Some places you may not need them. So it's real. So
Hmm.
those are for those fears. So if you ask about why people don't embrace is knowledge gap, fear of the unknown,
Yeah.
what do you call it? Fear that they will be replaced or be made redundant. They are genuine fears. They are valid fears. It is part of the job of the leader to help allay these fears
Yes.
and also to not to sugarcoat it. The truth is that if there are, an audit is done in an organization, there's certain jobs that can now be replaced by AI.
Exactly.
I was presenting to an organization last year during their half-year retreat, and I showed them, look, if you have an account clerk here, AI can replace the account clerk just like this. And I was able to show them to say, look, if you have an automation software, send an email of your invoices to that email address with a software like make.com or Zapier. It cannot, and your AI at the back, you can actually, um, what do you call it, extract the data you need from those invoices or those receipts. And it automatically populates your accounting software like Sage, like QuickBook, and you don't need the clerk. And that whole configuration, that setup is cheaper than you having a clerk. If you live in Nigeria and you wanted to pay minimum wage is 75,000 naira. Our exchange rate has appreciated of late is at 1,004. If you pay $20 for or maybe $15 for make.com and you
Hmm.
set it up properly, it means with 28,000 naira, you can have a system that is automated properly. Even if you buy two $20, $40, you can. This automation will work on public holiday, will never get tired, will
Yes.
do the job you put it to do without any human intervention. You obviously don't need an account clerk. Account clerk is gone because the guy will be keying things. If he's a woman, she can ask for a maternity leave. You understand? All the thousands, but this one doesn't go on any
Go
break.
to
This
the
one, guess what?
restroom.
People, nothing, no bio break, just get the job done. So yes, that reality is there. We cannot run away from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Job-
Wow.
And it's the job of the leader or whoever that's championing the AI
Mhm.
story to balance the messaging. It will be
Absolutely.
wrong. Then also too, we also need to come to give people confidence
Yes.
that what it is that we're doing is not only to replace your job, is to free up your time so you can do more things. Yes. So how AI is presented is yes, is for to improve efficiencies within your organization. But
Mm.
sometimes it is important to know that there are things that people traditionally were doing before the advent of AI that are repetitive that AI can take up for you. So it can free you to do more high-end stuff,
Mm.
things that involve in strategically, things that involve you taking decision, which whether it is ethical decisions, whether it is building trust that AI cannot do, that you as a human being can do, you can have more time to do it instead of doing those repetitive work.
Absolutely. In fact, you just said something that is very important here in the
Mm,
space of a skill.
mm,
I was sharing with someone recently that AI is teaching many leaders to think scale. Because most people are not really seeing it the way you just said it now. Like, okay, look at the task. What are the repetitive things you do every day that you can
mm,
automate, right? Even in families can also implement the same thing. For example, in my family, we have a very simple system, data, extraction, AI, is our own AI agent to to look at every expense and everything that is going on in the family. So we just use the agent. It automates all our expenses and everything. So it's pretty much easy. Before we will sit down to do all these things manually and all of that. That's within the family. What about in teams, in organizations, and all of that? So there are many opportunities out there. There are things that AI won't replace, and I like the way you said it, so that leaders can help the people to understand this, so that at least they can build that confidence and then think about more strategic things they can get into, build themselves. Because if you are just seated and you are not working on yourself, improving yourself, and you're just like, oh, well, what's going to happen? It will happen because you are not working on you. And that's basically the job of the leader for the leaders to help their people out of those fears. So I would like us to talk about culture because you mentioned culture and systems that
Yeah.
really block this kind of innovation because many leaders say that they want innovation like I mentioned, but their systems and culture often block it basically. So when
Mm,
we look at processes become kind of rigid, teams kind of become risk averse, and
mm.
learning within the organizations slow down. So, from your own experience working with leaders and all these organizations, what leadership behaviors, structures, or let me say organizational habits must change if leaders want to create environments underlined, where new ideas and technologies can actually thrive.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that question. So, um, you know, Peter Drucker says that culture will eat strategy for breakfast. Then other people now added a additional statement. They added always.
Hmm,
So, uh, how successful a company is in AI adoption is a function of their culture.
hmm,
Yes. How successful a company is a function of their culture. If the organization is a learning organization, the company will embrace AI very well. They will find different ways of putting AI to use to save time, you understand, to be more competitive in their deep research they do about the market and their competitors, and also to find ways of saving money or blocking leakages within the organization.
hmm.
When we talk about culture, let me show you a very nuanced item that happens in the relationship. Last year, I went to train an organization where I was training their HR department on how to use AI. And one of the first complaints that they complained was that there were so many um, applications or tools that they wanted the IT people to help them provide or create for them, which those IT people either is saying, come tomorrow, I'm busy, it is not priority, I have other things that my boss have asked me to do. You understand? We'll get back to it. And the people in HR felt really frustrated. But with the advent of AI, now that we can use natural language to prompt and develop an application under the new name called vibe coding,
Yeah.
it changes the market entirely. Now, if you are in the culture of hiding or hoarding your knowledge, AI has come to flatten it. So,
Yeah.
to answer your question, what kind of thinking or habit should people pick if they want to ensure that culture does not stand in the way of their innovation? Is to first embrace the fact that AI has come to shatter the glass ceiling. Whether you're a programmer, whether you're a tech person, whether you're somebody that we're in the age of ideas, and AI can help bring to life your idea. So it means that if you want to be a forward-looking organization, your mindset of this is how we used to do things here needs to change. That's one. Number two, there's need for people to take the ownership of their career,
Yes.
ownership of your career or your own growth journey. So before now, people used to say, "Oh, sorry, the reason why I'm not doing very well on this job because I have not been trained." Wow, good excuse. But see your life, right? If you want your life to change career-wise, we're in the age of AI. You can actually chat with your LLM, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Claude, whether it's Microsoft Copilot, etc., blah blah blah, or even Grok, to say, "Give me a plan of this top area that I want to learn something," and AI can walk you through. AI can share videos. AI can help you prepare a course of your own personal self-learning that you can help to prepare yourself. I'm a living example. This year, I took an exam to become a certified um, platform administrator for Salesforce.
Yes, cool.
And yes, and why did I take this course? Because it was a challenge between me and my daughter. Before I took that exam, I sat down and I engaged my LLM, both ChatGPT and Claude. And I developed programs. I even developed an application that I can use to quiz myself to prepare for the exam. So what am I saying is that I have succeeded in passing the exam because I took full ownership. So if you are a leader
Hmm,
or somebody that is following a leader, the excuse of saying they've not helped me does not arise.
hmm.
The best person that can help yourself is you. You can shape the journey of your profession by leveraging AI. So I've talked about the first um, one, about the mindset change that needs to happen. And I've also talked about the need for you to take ownership.
Wow.
If you want to be a company that you don't want culture, because it's also a cultural behavior. In an organization where people are reactive, they're always blaming the management. They didn't send me for training, they've not done this training. But the tools for training are always available to you. You can create a course that is customized for yourself to be able to learn what it is you want to learn.
Yes.
Even if you want to talk with your AI, the tool is there. If you use Google AI Studio, you can share your screen and it can be teaching you what and what to do. So
Hmm.
we're in an age where you have to take full ownership. That's one of the ways you can dispel those cultural things. Thirdly, is that you need a AI champion. And those people are very easy to find. You know, there are people who are laggards and there are people who are embrace technology early adopters. The people that are early adopters are the people you need to push in your organization so that you can use them as examples of people who are doing things right. Those are the ways to um, destroy that cultural barrier that stop people from embracing AI technology to help move their company forward. So if I repeat again, I'll talk about the need for individuals to take ownership, the need to look for AI champion, and the need for you to start and ensure that you remain flexible and take your journey yourself. So that's it.
Wow. Wow. Thank you
Mm.
very much for that. You have said some things that are very important. I'm just thinking about the adapt model that we developed uh, a,
Okay.
2 years ago. And the first letter there, A, is all about alerting the system and understanding that there is a need for change. There is a need for us to make some adjustments here. There is a need for us to look for new ways to get things done,
Mhm.
right? The curiosity is there. And the moment the leader creates an environment, like you mentioned, an environment that helps the people to grow, automatically you will see everyone, looking for ways to become better. And when people look for ways to become better, eventually it's going to affect the way they work. It will affect their lives. It will affect the way they work. And it's going to increase the productivity within the company. And that's
Okay.
what every leader looks for. But, every leader wants that outcome. But most leaders, well, let me say many leaders, don't really pay attention, focus on that process. What do I need to do day to day? What do I need to do? Okay, in the next 90 days, okay, you have your plans, your quarterly plans. You have your monthly plans to achieve the quarterly plans. You have your weekly
Mm.
plans to achieve your monthly plans. You have your daily plans to achieve, your weekly plans. All right. So how are you tracking that progress? Do you have the systems and the culture around that to make sure that things are getting done? And not like, curiosity and responsibility. We need to balance them. So I think we need to talk about that, curiosity and responsibility, because there is a need for balancing. So as AI becomes more integrated into organizations,
Mm,
leaders are also thinking about responsibility, and they have
mm,
they have to step up. They have to lead the way, for example. And there is this excitement about what technology can do, right? Everybody gets excited, but they are also concerned about the ethics, the data, the unintended consequences, because we have to be realistic. We have to think about all of these things, and
mm.
that's why we have AI governance now, right? And then of course people are getting certified to make sure that the ethical part of AI is taken care of, and this is also part of leadership capacity, right? So from your perspective, I want us to quickly look into that, especially the area of curiosity and experimentation. I'm talking about responsibility here. So how should leaders balance curiosity and experimentation with responsibility and human-centered decision making? Because these are very
Okay.
critical in AI implementation and design.
Okay. Before I respond to that, let me first say three things that AI cannot replace, no
Hmm,
matter how good it becomes. It will not replace empathy. It will not replace trust, and it will not replace ethical decision making.
awesome.
These are all within the bandwidth of a leader. So, to take you back to how organization should handle data, protect users, arouse curiosity among people. I'll start with the curiosity. Um, AI can, if you're a smart person and use AI, your smartness will show through and even sometimes make you more smarter.
Hmm,
If you're not a smart person, if you are willing to learn, AI will challenge your reasoning and help you appear smart.
hmm,
Curiosity in an organization is something that um, you should not delegate to AI. It is a leadership driven, environment creating situation. If you want people to be curious, you have to allow them to fail so they can try new things. When things get broken, you teach them how to be more careful, to learn from the mistakes, and to go forward.
So you just said something now. You mean I should allow my people to fail as a leader?
Well, even you as a leader, you have failed many times. You didn't get,
Yeah.
you didn't land here perfectly.
Mm.
You are here where you are today because you've made some series of mistakes, you've learned from it, and you've adjusted. You've known how to conduct yourself in a boardroom, how to present yourself in the public. There
Abs-
are times you've made statements that are not sensitive, you've apologized, and you've learned from it. And today, when people see you speak, they think you were born like that. No, you're not born like that. Those were born out of your experience. So it's the same way. So if you're looking for perfect stuff, you won't find them.
Doesn't exist.
Even your AI, it's clear written under double check. AI can make mistake.
Mm.
So who doesn't? The question now is what level of mistake? Which is the reason why, as a leader, we should put guardrails in all systems, right? We should um, form committees or put people in charge that will ensure that the data that we process with the organization is correct and a balanced data. Because whoever processes the data determines what the outcome is,
Yeah.
right? So if the data being processed is already biased, the outcome naturally will be biased. So these are areas that leaders in organization should focus in. I mean, you can't be a financial services company and you are using data that ab initio disenfranchises women
Hmm.
or differentializes an ethnic group or race. So these are things that requires you to bring your ethical leadership judgment to play. It is not AI that will do it for you. Remember, AI is like machine, is like robots. It is garbage in, garbage out. So this is a very important area, and this is where leadership is strongly required. This oversight and putting these guardrails are what makes AI system work and produce kind of output that all of us desire or like. When we leave it to chances, we get very strange results.
Hmm.
So maybe our topic is not wrong by saying that they should not allow robots fire things anyhow, right? That they should still allow human judgment to prevail. So maybe those are the things that Anthropic,
Hmm.
owners of Claude, are trying to say. There's a room for AI and there's a room for ethical judgment. These are all things that sit and fall with leadership.
Hmm. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much. You know what you just described now is very critical because these leadership principles you talked about, they have to be, guiding organizations as they adopt AI responsibly. And you also
Mm.
talked about something that is very critical, and I don't want anybody to miss this, the aspect of positioning people rightly. Because if people are not well positioned, if you don't understand who should be positioned and where they should be positioned according to their capacity, to their strengths, to their talent, to their creativity, power, and all of that. You know, there's something we developed recently in our organization. We call it the Change Genius Assessment. And the Change Genius Assessment basically helps the organizations to know exactly, okay, who should be in this particular role. And some people naturally they are innovators. Some people naturally they are achievers. Go, 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 right? Now they have all other traits as well, but these ones are dominant. Some are naturally unifiers, some are naturally builders, some are naturally refiners. In other words, we call them cleaners. And these ones, they think structure, they organize, they think different ways of putting things together. And many times I have come to realize that leaders who are builders, who are also innovators, if they are not very careful, when they have cleaners, people who are refiners around them, who are supposed to be helping them to get the job done. For example, like the AI implementation that we're talking about now, the ethics, being
Mm.
responsible with AI and all of that. If they're not very careful, they wouldn't see the capacity in those people. Let them make those mistakes. They are naturally wired. You see them moving forward. You see them asking questions like, "Hey, sir, ma'am, can we try this? I think this tool will work. I think this will help us." And if the innovator or the builder is not if the person is not someone who creates that kind of environment that is safe for everybody to explore, to experiment, to explore, according to their curiosity, they will realize that all these people will just shut down. They will just shut down, and they won't deliver what they're supposed to deliver within the organization. So I really appreciate what you said there about letting people be positioned according to their strength, according to where they're supposed to function, so that they can deliver the best within the organization. Everything rises and falls on leadership, basically, no matter what it is. Like John Maxwell said it, no matter what it is. So leadership capacity here is very, very critical. That will take us to my next question about building internal capacity for innovation. Because without without building internal capacity, all these things we're talking about won't work. Innovation often depends on a few experts, right? While the rest in the organizations, feels like, all right, we are not needed. They feel disconnected from the process because they just want
Mm.
a few people. They just select one, two, three, four. No matter. And I want you people to do this for me, and others I know how well what is going on. And that kind of organization, when you get there, they will tell you we want sustainable innovation. They will tell you the kind of outcome they want. They will tell you we want shared capabilities across teams. All those things, all those wonderful statements. So let's talk about internal capacity. What
Okay.
are some of the practical ways, that leaders can use to build internal capacity so that innovation can become collective ability rather than just, something owned by a small group or I mean, of a specialist?
The first way is to socialize knowledge,
Hmm.
meaning that you say you are a learning organization, that you have it somewhere calendarized in your organization, maybe every month, where you have a learning Friday, where you talk about technology, talk about innovation from your competitors in the industry, and ask yourself, where do we fit in here?
Yeah.
Right? You can also bring external facilitators to come and challenge or talk to you or share new trends in your industry. So you have to be a learning organization. If not, what got you here won't take you to the next level.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is that you need to fund capacity building. It doesn't come cheap.
Hmm.
You need to fund it by prioritizing it, by putting money behind it, by rewarding and demonstrating with action that capacity building is important to you. So let me say this, which is something everybody probably can find on the web. Facebook, right, says that part of the appraisal system now is to check whether you know how to use AI or whether you're able to demonstrate your use of AI within the organization.
Hmm.
That is how to increase and develop internal capacity when it comes to technology. But it shouldn't stop there. It should be across board on anything that you believe is important, that you want people to change behavior in, by rewarding it, by appraising it. You say what is not measured cannot be controlled,
Yes.
right? So it's the same. So that's it. So first thing, measure it, reward it,
Yes.
invest in it.
Hmm.
So anytime we talk about a skill gap, it is not a knowledge gap problem. No, it is companies have not invested in it. So
Yeah.
if you go to a company and you do an assessment and you see there is the AI knowledge gap, it's one of three things. Not because people don't want to learn AI. No one has sent them for training. Nobody has challenged them to learn the AI. Nobody has asked them to show us through showpieces or showcase or capstone project to demonstrate this use of this AI. You don't have any AI champion. People always look at the leader. What the leader prioritizes is what people will say is important.
Yes.
So if you want to develop capacity, you have to demonstrate as a leader that capacity building, increasing our ability to perform inside is top priority. You don't just say it as a buzzword. You don't just put it in your company's internal newsletter or put it in your press releases or put
Mem-
it in your annual reports. You actually back it up with action. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the last part. You don't just send the email on Monday morning.
Yeah. So
You
people have to invest in it. And you have to also get people that you can say, look, whenever I say those things like employee of the month, where you say, look, Mr. Wale Adekanla is a AI champion in organization. This is how he uses AI in his department. This is the benefit it has brought.
Yeah,
Other people will be challenged.
exactly.
And that is one way of building those capacities.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's even all the things. Sometimes it's not every time you need to spend money outside. Sometimes just getting people to participate in an AI competition to show what they are using AI for or how it has changed their life will do. A partnership between HR and internal corporate communication will will do well in making sure this comes to life.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much for this. Um, Before we end our session today, I would love
Mm,
you to just uh, briefly, maybe in the next 1 minute, to kind of share with us, especially what you think about the next decade, looking ahead. Um, because now today we're talking about AI, and then
mm,
we are tying this to leadership development,
mm.
which often moves much slower. AI is not moving like the leadership development systems in organizations. It's moving very, very fast. But I want us to
Okay.
look at some of these things, as we round up. What do you think
Mm.
leaders should be thinking about next decade?
One, you should be thinking about capacity building for the next decade.
Hmm,
If you're not ready, it's like going to war. If people are not ready, they're not ready.
hmm,
That's the first one. So people readiness. Number two, you should um, prepare for the disruption and changes that will happen in the marketplace. So when we all of us are talking about cloud bots now, we're talking about a social media platform where it's only AIs that are talking to each other on the same social media platform. They don't want to be human being involved. So we're going to enter a sci-fi stage. Um, I just downloaded CloudWalk onto my laptop. I've yet to install it. I've seen all the great things it can do, but we are entering the phase where AI will do a lot of autonomous work for us. What we used to do before, book flight ticket for us, make meal plans for us without us, advise us accordingly. So the question you should be asking yourself, all these innovations and changes that happen in the marketplace, how does it apply to me as an individual and how does it apply to me as a company?
yes.
These are questions you must ask. The other thing we must talk about is to help allay the fear of people who are worried about how drastic their industries and their company will change over the next 10 years. How to um, embrace, adapt, and thrive in that new change.
Hmm,
Because, according to the World Economic Report, by 2030, over 170 new jobs that are AI related will be created, but also 292 million jobs will be lost. So interestingly, there's a surplus. So some of the fears of total job loss is not it, but that change, somebody needs to prepare for it. It requires proper communication as a leader. It requires trust building amongst your team to tell them that I'm with you. We're doing this together. No one left behind. And that by the time this changes finishes, we'll come out on top. So
yes.
let me take everybody back to what happened to us when we're talking about Y2K. The way Y2K was presented was that if we don't correct all our systems, um, somewhere the world will end, something will happen. This is 26 years after we're still here. So when you talk about what's the plan for the next 10 years, I'll say keep your mind open. That's what a good leader will do. Be ready to learn. Be ready to pivot. What you used to do before may no longer apply anymore.
Yeah.
Change as is required. But don't forget all the superpowers that you have, that ethical decision, empathy, trust, making sound judgment, still stay with humans, whilst leveraging AI to better deal with all the surprises that will come in the future.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you very, very much. I mean, this is very insightful.
Thank
And
you.
one of the things that stands out in this conversation for me is that technology does not replace leadership. It raises the standard of leadership, basically. And organizations that learn faster will adapt faster. And leaders who continue developing their thinking will be better positioned to guide teams through complexity. So it is important for us to make our leadership simple by building internal capacity. We've heard this from our guest, the coach. I just want to encourage all our listeners today to start thinking ahead. Start thinking ahead as a leader. So, just one statement, Coach Suleiman. Just one statement today, as we'll end this podcast. And for leaders, I want us to think about leaders that are listening today, whether they're running businesses, leading government teams, building ministries or starting organizations. What one piece of advice would you give them? If they want to prepare, because we don't prepare for the stage, we prepare, and we don't prepare on the stage, rather, we prepare for the stage. So, what is that one piece that you want to say to help them to prepare their organizations for a future shaped by AI and innovation? Just one piece, please.
Um, embrace change. Know how to leverage change. If you do not change, you'll be changed.
I like that.
Just, just not the way you like it.
I like that.
Is the sentence enough?
I like that. If you don't embrace change, you will be changed. Something
Yes.
must change.
No, no, you'll be changed. It's just that you not like the change.
Yeah, but you
In
may
the,
not like it.
but,
That's it.
but you'll be changed. Yes.
Yes, something must change. Absolutely. Wow, I love that. So, I hope you've learned something today
I have.
during this conversation. For all our listeners here today, thank you so much. Please share this episode with all leaders that you know, leaders in businesses, those who are just starting out, managers, directors, and especially HR, because we actually talked about the HR department. Share this with CEOs and government agencies, because this is very important. I want to encourage every African that is watching this, share it everywhere in Africa, because we want to grow every part of Africa. We need to embrace innovation. We need to think about the next decade. We need to build internet capacity. So, my brother, thank you so much for sharing your insight and your experience today with us. This has been a thoughtful and practical conversation, and I believe that many leaders will walk away with a deeper understanding that innovation is not only about technology, it's about leadership, learning, and the systems we build together inside our organizations. To everyone listening, thank you so much for joining me here today. This episode, Lead and Scale podcast. If you find this conversation valuable, please and please share it, with leaders who are navigating change and transformation in their organizations. And remember, the future does not belong to the organization with the most technology. Okay, it belongs to the organizations with leaders who continue to learn and adapt. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. We thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you, and bye for now.